Welcome. This is going to be another Lightworker Toolkit session where in this session we're going to be focused on integration. Integration is going to be our overarching topic. So normally, some of you that are coming to these more frequently, you're probably used to more of the healing aspect. But in this session, it's going to be a lot more about integration. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Bree, and I am going to be leading us on a journey today with our spiritual guidance teams to get some clarity on how to integrate. I also have some subtopics that were coming through before getting on, and typically the topics don't come through before I get on the live, but my guides were like, you gotta write some things down. And so I did. And the topics in this integration session are flexibility. Now, this isn't just flexibility in your body. This is flexibility in your mind. This is flexibility in your emotional body. This is flexibility in your day-to-day structure. This is flexibility in your thoughts. And I'm going to channel a message at some point in this transmission about flexibility. It seems like a really potent thing, especially for light workers. Now, light worker, I want to define light worker. Light worker doesn't have to mean that you're actually offering healings. Light worker doesn't have to mean that you're serving one-to-one. Light worker doesn't have to mean that you're leading, gatherings or you're leading groups or anything like that. Light worker is someone who's identified, me as a soul, I've come here to bring specific key codes, specific light codes, specific integrations, specific connections, specific. For a lot of you, it's art. So a lot of you, you're here to actually be creating, sculpting, writing, painting, drawing, creating art installations. A lot of you, it has to do with music. A lot of you, it has to do with using not even just those art things, but what they're showing me is the actual quality of your voice is art. You're weaving these geometries and connecting these. You're connecting so much just with the quality and vibration and frequency of your voice. So, of those things that I just mulled over, highest excitement is the second topic that my guides showed me. They showed me highest excitement is something that confuses people, and especially confuses light workers, because light workers typically are here with multiple archetypes that they've mastered. Never heard it this way before, but go with me. So they're showing me that light workers will often come in with these, they're showing me typically it's between 3 and 5, has to do with the dimensions that we're in, but will come with these very strong archetypes that we've mastered. So in other words, these are embodiments of you that as a soul, you got it. You done figured it out. You've got it figured it out. You've got it mastered. And in those cases, in those archetypes that I'm speaking to right now, some of you already knowing what I'm talking about, those archetypes are some of the archetypes that earlier in life you probably resisted. Or you probably, because you came in with these archetypes at mastery level, from a very, very young age, people saw you in this mastery and they did not like it. They were rubbed the wrong way by it. They were intimidated by it. They were jealous. They were comparative. They were disempowered even. Some people may have witnessed you in this mastery archetype that is your highest excitement, at least for a chapter of your life or a period of your life or a moment of your life or something. Envious. So what the guides are wanting us to do right now is just scan for ourselves, what are those archetypes for us? Some of you that have paper and pen, I would encourage you to in these sessions. They're recorded here live free, but if you want the recording, these all get stored in the Lightworker Toolkit. Hello, Simone. So the Lightworker Toolkit it's $33 a month, and the way that I'm designing it and building it, according to the way that my guides are kind of showing me it needs to be done, is this can be one of those things that, you know, maybe it's something that's a chapter of your life. So maybe you go in there and you do it for a month and you watch all the videos and you're feeling like, I'm good. And then you can cancel. And it's totally up to you. It's very, very flexible in that it's going to be consistently updated with what my guides are showing me. And sometimes this will show up. I'll know the topics because it's present in my everyday life. Sometimes it's because it's present in all of my clients' life at the same time. So this will happen to me a lot, and some of you lightworkers probably need to hear this. You might notice that, let's say you have a week where every single one of your clients is dealing with the same issue. You might notice this. This may come up for you. Definitely comes up for me. So if this is coming up for you, what they want you to do is, and this is definitely for more of the, I would say, advanced lightworkers or those who have stepped into their service work already, they want you to pay attention to, pattern. They're showing me you already know how to study the pattern of your own life, but through the people you're serving, you're going to deepen into your pattern study here on Earth. And the starseed qualities of you that came here for that are lit up by that. Now the ego is going to be like, that seems challenging. So, okay, let me just see if I've covered everything on the high. So with the highest excitement, what they're showing me is just know that this can change throughout the day. Your highest excitement can change throughout the day. Your highest excitement can change month to month. Your highest excitement can change year to year, season to season. You might find your highest excitement right now is this thing, but in a week from now, you're like completely disinterested. That's okay. And they're showing me that a lot of you that this applies to, this is interesting, they're showing me that a lot of you get diagnosed with ADHD. Same. And the reason that you're getting diagnosed with this is because you came, oh, I'm getting excitable. Hold on, let me temper myself and slow myself down. It's because you came with all of these archetypes. And people in your life are telling you to choose. Pick one, pick one, pick one, pick one, pick one. A lot of you have had this. I'm actually seeing a lot of you from early on in your life, people telling you pick one, pick one, pick one, pick one. You can't be all of that. You got to pick one. You can't be all those things. You got to pick one. Narrow it down. Make your decision. A lot of you have gotten a lot of pressure. So this is also kind of the dying paradigm on planet Earth where by the age of 18 or 17 or whenever we're at that age where it's college time, we're forced into this illusion that we're picking what we want to do for the rest of our life. That's breaking down right now on planet Earth. And yay. And Jor ordered the embroidery machine. I also want to just share a little note. So Jor is going to be making some magic. And one of the things that my mother did while she was still living was she was an artist and she started designing clothes at the end. So this is particularly exciting for me. Good morning from Minnesota. Hello, Josh. Okay, so I think I covered the highest excitement. Basically, the highest excitement is let it be whatever it is and don't get tied to it. So, and I'm definitely not talking about the embroidery machine here, Jor. But what can happen, let's say you do find something that it is your highest excitement and you're actually doing it. They're showing me don't cap your excitement. So that could still be online and working for you and flowing for you. And then all of a sudden, something new comes in too. And you're like, whoa, how am I going to handle all of this? Well, you can. And the reason you can is because you came in with multiple archetypes already mastered. That's why it's not going to work for you. So let's say this is what they're also showing me. This is very interesting. So they're showing me that a lot of the people that would have shaped us in that way, they may have come in with no archetypes mastered. Or they may have come in with one archetype very mastered that they're very attached to. They're not getting the soul lesson that they came here to know more than that. They came here to expand. They came here to grow. They came here to become more versatile, more multifunctional. So just do know that. Do know that there may be others that are in a very different soul evolution than you. And it doesn't make them bad. It doesn't make them cruel even. So they want us to do some just scanning of where we need to forgive, because some of us do need to do a little bit of forgiveness for those around us that saw us housing, 7 archetypes that are already mastered in a home where, everyone also only has one. And so it's confusing and it's distraughtful. This is something I've been processing a lot in the last couple weeks, is that in my family growing up, I always felt like the black sheep. I always felt out of place. I never felt like I fit in. There was like an ongoing joke growing up from my brother that I was adopted. And I really believed it. I was like, well, I definitely am not in this family. I don't, what, and I'm seeing more clearly now that part of this had to do with, that was a soul contract for me. I was there to show my family members, I was there to challenge them in some ways, but challenges that benefit them, challenges that expand them, challenges that allowed them to have emotional depth that which they would have had a harder time doing without me being there in the equation. So, that makes me want to cry. Okay. How do you know me? I don't know. A lot of people say that. Very ancient soul. I'll share that with you. I'm a very ancient soul. I've been around. You might know me from Lemuria, from Atlantis, the Pleiades, Arcturus. Like being a jack of all trades. Yes. Having more than one interest. Yes. That you excel at. Yes. Yes, Jor. Yes. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So, I think a lot of you here, feels like a lot of you here now and some of you in the future, you might even have this kind of, what they're showing me is it's like a star quality. They were actually talking about this with my clients last week, so this is funny. But you have this quality about you that's kind of, it's magnetic and it lures people in, it attracts people. And so from an early age, once you sensed that, you might have actually turned that archetype, the ability to shine, the ability to be seen, the ability to be, they even said center of attention, which really bothered me because I used to be called that. And it really bothered me because I didn't want to be the center of attention. I just wanted to be part of it. But, okay, let's see. Tell me to move on to the third topic. So the third topic is getting comfortable again. And this is very changing lanes. So we're changing lanes here. We're transitioning. Because it feels like this is its own thing. And what we just talked about was something very different. But its own thing that's coming in is, and this is going to feel way too simplistic to most of you, but they showed me that what's missing on planet Earth for humans right now is that we all are not comfortable with just being. We're not comfortable with just sitting in our own energy without like a podcast going or music, and I definitely, this can apply to me at certain times. So I've been challenging myself to just sit and be. And at first you're going to be like, this is boring. Or at first you're going to be like, whoa, you're starting to hear thoughts. You can even call this meditation. But you're going to start to notice the things that weren't as noticeable when you were keeping yourself really busy with distraction. So they want us to do that. I know it's hard, Merrick. I know. But it's, what they're showing me too is like, it's like riding a bike. So the first few times that you're doing it, you're just sitting and quiet and just let it be that. They're showing me too, a lot of you get a little bit too stringent. Where you think you just need to sit and be quiet and still for like, and they're showing me like clocks, where you think it has to be a certain amount of time or a certain amount of whatever. They kind of want you to let go of that. I mean, obviously, if you have to be somewhere, do something in a certain amount of time, you can set yourself a timer. But if that's not the case, then they're showing me that it might just be helpful for you to just do that as long as it feels nice. Not set yourself a limit. And they're showing me not set yourself, don't be rigid in your body. They're showing me rigid in the body. So don't feel like when you're doing this, you have to sit still. I journaled about distractions recently as well. Yeah. So this is a way, E. Smith, this is a way to help with that. Because the only reason that we bring distractions in is because something within our soul is actually awakening and wants to tell us something. And the ego has programming that that seems scary, or that's too much, or, you know, whatever the ego program is, will kind of want to keep it concealed. That's why when you can allow yourself to just, so has that unable to sit in quiet to do with the nervous system? It can. And yet, paradoxically, what that nervous system wants is for you to slow down. So what the nervous system wants is for you to hear it, be with it. So, but they're also showing me a caveat here. So when you're doing this kind of quiet time or time with yourself, it might be in movement. It doesn't have to be in stillness. It might be with breath work. It might be with affirmations, if you feel called to that. But what they want us to do is, because they're showing me this too, this is so hilarious, wow. So when I first started meditating and doing hypnosis and all of this stuff, it was many years ago, but when I first started, I was listening to something, a guided meditation or a guided hypnosis, pretty much daily. And for a while, I was listening to, what's his name? Michael, I can't think of his name, darn. I'll try to find it. I don't think I'm subscribed anymore because I don't do the videos anymore. But I was doing basically like all night long hypnosis sessions in my sleep because I was going, Michael Singer. Thank you, Barry. Yes, Michael Singer. So, and there's a few others that are really similar that were really powerful for me. But I had a lot of trauma. And it was a lot to face. And so I realized early on that a lot of the stuff I was going to be working through was going to be better worked through in my sleep. And that's really how I healed my nervous system. It really is. But what they're saying is about this, okay, back to the topic. I'm a little, look at the squirrel today. But, where's my sage? What they're saying about this is that your just being doesn't have to be actionless. It just means they want you to be able to, utilize the meditations, utilize the, maybe you're in this membership in the future, hopefully. You're in this membership and you're using the videos, but don't just use the videos, is what they're saying. And they're also saying use these guided practices as a springboard to sit on your own. So maybe what's going on is too chaos, so you do a guided meditation, but then take a little time, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes after the meditation to see what's present for you, see what you're sitting with. See what's going on with you, because that's going to be how we get back to our core vibrational frequency, which is one of the main topics I'm going to be talking about here all throughout in the Lightworker Toolkit. We need to know our core vibrational frequency. This is what allows us to have sovereignty. This is what allows us to not get swept up in the media, or swept up in all the riots, or swept up in all the chaos in the world. We have to learn to sit with ourselves. And I don't like to be one of the people that predicts these things, but they do show me blackouts a lot. Not long lasting, but they show me this a lot. And they show me that if/when we experience that, it's really good we know how to just be without our devices. Because if we're really addicted to our devices, and then all of a sudden we can't use our devices, that's not so great for the mental body. The mental body is going to be like, insert your strange animal weird sound, because it will do that. And so it's really a good time on the planet. Are there gatherings for this sort of stuff? I'd like to be near like-minded people. This is actually being recorded for my new membership, the Lightworker Toolkit. And I have several memberships where you can definitely meet some like-minded souls. Or you can come hang out here if that's not piquing your interest in the moment. But Josh, you're pointing to something really important. So if you're... This feels like a weird way to describe it, but if you're early, all of my memberships are in my link tree in my profile here. So what they're showing me about community is that it's so important. And it's what they're showing me is what we're downloading right now on planet Earth is... Oh, this seems cool. Let me grab it. What we're downloading on planet Earth right now is community templates. They're saying new human community templates. They're showing me that a lot of the old community templates were based in... The way that they're showing this to me is that old communities, or the way that communities were when we were really in fear, were kind of worshiping or idolizing the group or community leader. And they're showing me that new human community, it's everyone's on the same playing field. Everyone's on the same level. So it's not a hierarchy anymore. That's what the new communities of planet Earth are going to look like. It's going to be much more of a, yes, there's going to be something that you bring to the table that someone else can't bring to the table. But everyone that's bringing something to the table is valued. And there's not someone, over all of them, barking at all of them to be a certain way or do a certain thing. It's everyone on the same plane. That's what they're showing me. And they're also showing me caveat. It's also multidimensional. So you're going to have basically groups where you've got a couple people grabbing from the 7th dimension and da-da-da-da-da. And then you've got a couple of people over here grabbing from the 12th dimension, bringing da-da-da-da-da. And you're going to have multidimensional. It's not just one third dimension, like flat. But it is to the point where each person that is coming to the community is equally valued. And it's not a, I've got a 12th dimensional template and I've got a 7th dimensional template and we're going to fight and butt heads now. No. That's the way that they used to be. Okay. Let me see. That was cool. I like that. I definitely resonate with that. And I'll also share that when I got it, if you're new, this is what I was going to share before that channel came in. If you're newer on your healing journey, or you're kind of starting it out, or you're maybe just consciously feel like that, it is exciting. I'm downloading information through the Akashic records. So some of the stuff I'm sharing, I say in my human vessel, I already know this and I'm living it. Sometimes, but not always. Sometimes where I'm getting channels that I'm very piqued. I'm like, oh, that's a new way to see it. Oh, interesting. But it's just important right now that on planet Earth, they're showing me that we need to rehabilitate our I am presence. Okay, yeah. So we need to rehabilitate our I am presence on planet Earth. So feel into that. Your I am presence. I am that I am, that I am, that I am, that I am. I am that I am, that I am, that I am, that I am. And this is what sitting on your own is going to get you into the attunement and alignment of I am. Because a lot of you are saying, I am my relationships. I am my jobs. I am my hobbies. Not realizing that's a part of your I am. But with those removed, you still are I am. We need to get comfortable with I am. Without any like roles filled in. Don't even get me started on the way that we've butchered language in America and on planet Earth. I am. Yes, you get it. I am. So they're sharing a channel. This is one of those channels that's coming in that I'm like, it's like I don't have a place for it yet. But let me allow it. Okay, because if I just allow it, will come. They just really want us to sit in our I am presence every day. Not being stringent on time. But if every single day we can remind ourselves of this touch point that I am. I am. My presence is enough. My beingness is enough. Without fixing myself, without shining myself up, without changing myself, I am enough. Just as I am. Don't need to add anything to it. Don't need to pick parts out. I am, and that's enough. Now, is there any questions on this I am? Because I'm sensing that there may be. And that's something I can definitely channel on. Any questions on this? Or do we feel like we get this in the group? I'm having some lower back twitching too, so I didn't ask to open up healing, but my vessel just kind of does that. So you may want to tap on parts of your body in this session. Explain further this I am. What do you feel is missing? Amy? What's missing from it? My presence is enough. So if you're not getting it, if you're not getting I am, it's because you have programs in your ego field that tell you that's not enough. And so the even mere concept of it, the mere concept that you're enough as you are, your ego is like, that's not the story we've been telling. I am who I am, and that is enough. That's enough. If you're hungry for tacos, go get those tacos. Is that your highest excitement? If yes, taco it up. I'm that I'm. Thanks for making me laugh, Josh. Right now it is. Then tacos is the way to go. So it's you know what? So they brought through that. You'll notice I make weird sounds when I'm channeling. With highest excitement, I tacoed hard last night. So it's a good. This is another. It's good to have. This is what I would like you to have in your tool bag, or your purse, or your bag, or your, I don't know, imaginary and invisible something that holds things. Have a lot of questions in that bag. Is this aligned? Start asking yourself the questions. Is this aligned? Does this resonate? Is this my highest excitement? Does this make me feel lighter or heavier? Just start asking yourself these. Start queuing them up. When you have to go to decision time and there's this decision presenting, ask yourself these questions. You're going to get an immediate, and you're going to even, this is something you're going to experience. You're going to get that immediate yes or no, and you're going to feel, you're going to feel parts of yourself that are like, you can't say that. You can't say no. You can't say yes. You're going to feel them arise. But that first, it's like the same thing they teach us, or I don't know if they're still teaching this, but like when you did, this is very like dating myself, but when I used to do like scantrons, one of the things I learned, which is very applicable here now today, is that like your first answer is your answer. If you let the second guessing start coming online, it's just gonna like this, then that, then that. Your answer is gonna come from your center. And the illusionary things are gonna tilt you or pull you down or pull you back or but your real answer, your soul answer, your truthful answer, it's always gonna come up pretty quick. And I would really, if you're not doing these things already, although most of you are, get really, really good at your yes and no. Is this for me? Is this for my highest good? Will this serve in the highest good of all? You're going to get yeses and nos. It took me a while to fully accept I am without feeling arrogant. Okay, it felt so wrong. So you're talking a lot about imposter syndrome. You're talking about a lot of things. So if that applies to you, if you feel like you're saying I am, and something's coming up in your field saying, why would you ever think you're good enough for that? Or you are nothing. Or we're going to have all these limiting voices that came in early in our programming, like in probably our first 7 years of life. These labels that came in to our field before we were able to know we even had a field. So all these things, and a lot of us don't even try to dig through the memory because it's so far back. This is the type of thing that you want to address hypnosis, energy healing style. Your conscious mind is going to, because the conscious mind, or the ego, I'll say, the ego, it's like very, very good at like it knows what it knew. The ego knows what it knew. Remember that. Please remember that, everybody. The ego only knows what it knew. The ego can't possibly conceptualize what it doesn't know yet. It can't. If it doesn't know it by experience and it sees it in the purview, it's going to create blockages. And then remember, we're all fractals of God. That's the truth of it, Alex. God isn't a man in the sky. God runs through each and every single one of us. But we're in a 3D reality where it's a choice, and we've got beings that are really, really good at convincing us really early on that we can't do that. We're not smart enough. We're not good enough. We're not pretty enough. We're not rich enough. we don't have we didn't come from the right family to do that. So that's why we have to return to our I am. And this is what they're showing me about the I am in general. So they're showing me that a lot of us, if it is like ego, like if we're hesitating from the I am because of something that's ego, so the ego might really want to hold to certain identities. So the ego might want to say we're something, and our I am isn't even aligned with it. So what will happen is that ego will like try to be that thing, that one thing. Because it's comfortable, and it knew it. And so it knows, it's like, check, check, check. We've had proof of this. And the same thing will happen as you're stepping into things that are new and that your soul is guiding you to. You might feel those inner child voices come back up again that are like, everyone's judging us. Uh-oh. What's so-and-so gonna say? How's this person in my life gonna feel about it? Oh no, what if blah, blah, blah finds out? What if I get scorned? What if I get punished? Your ego likes the I have to, yes. And the soul is gonna like I am. Yes, they keep us small and stole our magic, but we are taking it back. We're remembering. Thank you, Raven. They might have borrowed it from us for a little while, but it's always ours. And Alex, every part of my connection to God is so much better once I truly accept and understand I am. Thank you. Yes. Your relationship with Source, your higher power, infinite unconditional love, eternal energy. It's going to shift when you step into your I am. If we're not in our I am pillar and we're somewhere outside, lingering in a projection, lingering in a wound, the I am will feel out of reach. But the I am is always present, always available, and it's at your center. And it's within your heart. What they're showing me is, remember they're saying all the chakras know I am, but we start with the root I am. So that's how we come into the world. They're giving us kind of a sequential. So they're showing me like 0 to 7 is like I am in our root. I'm going to channel this through because it feels pertinent. And then they're showing me I am in the sacral is like 7 to 14. And then they're showing me I am in the solar plexus is like 14 to 21. So you can see that this part of us that is below the heart, I'll say, gets programmed in those earlier years. That's why when we do work like this, we're getting to the root. And we might, in our adult years, have lingered a little bit more up here. Well, I figured this out. I'm going to try to communicate. Oh, it didn't work. I'll try this to figure it out, and then I'll try to communicate. Oh, it didn't work. They want me to do this over and over again very obnoxiously, so I will, because I love humor. So we have this, they're showing me this pattern where I figured it all out. I know how to communicate myself to another, and I'm going to try. And you're trying just basically from the third eye through the throat to communicate to people. They're even saying not just people, but like projects you're creating. Places, groups, people, yourself. They're showing me some of you do this with yourself, which I don't really understand it, but it kind of makes sense. Where it's like, oh, I figured it all out. Yes, it's crystal. Yes, I've got it. I'm using my multidimensional viewer in my third eye. I've got it all figured out. Perfect. Excellent. Now I'm going to communicate this to someone with no heart energy at all. I'm going to communicate this to someone. It doesn't work. And then you're like, meh, and the cycle repeats. And you feel like I can't communicate myself to anyone. The reason why is because, I know this is a little off topic, but it's because there's no anchoring. There's no I am in that. That's construct trying to create, to express to another construct. instead of expressing I am to I am. And they're showing me as light workers, it's really important we know this, especially with our clients. We're always communicating I am to I am. And when a distortion presents, we're very, very careful to know there's a distortion presenting. Where is my I am? Where is their I am? Are they in their I am? They're in distortion, so no. And this will help you with a lot of people in your life that are triggered by you. Question this. This is the question to have in that tool bag that we talked about. Am I in my I am? Are they in their I am? Maybe you are in your I am, but who you're trying to communicate with, not even close to their I am. They're in ego wounding program 3301. I don't know why they're saying that number, but they're basically showing me that there's this, when we can get comfortable with the ego, knowing it has programs, it's very helpful because we can be the programmer. We need to be the programmer. And we talked about this in the last session, but I want to share it here. We can identify that there's been parties. We just talked about the 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21. We just talked about that. They're showing me that in that identification, we understand that our ego structure started to get programmed by another's ego structure. So someone else's distortion, they weren't in their I am when they talked that way to us, so belittling and small and mean. Okay, they were in distortion. So they want us to call this power back and say, I understand that my ego has been programmed in the past by beings that may not have had my best interest at heart. But I choose from here now moving forward that I am the programmer of my ego. I get to choose the beliefs I am allowing, the beliefs I'm embodying from, the beliefs I'm acting from. It's not about anyone else and what they put into my programming. This is, I'm taking the wheel back. And some of you have active people in your life that are still putting programming. That's the time to go, are they in their I am? Am I in my I am? Am I in my I am? Are they in their I am? And if you can identify that either one of you is not in your authenticity, it's not time to make a connection. It's not the right timing. I choose, I am, and I'm aware and observing. Yes. Thank you, Raven. Okay, I have got cards here, and I didn't even use any of them yet. I'm going to do a few cards just to keep it fun and light today. Oh, good. I'm glad. And if it's speaking to you, it's because it's I am to I am. Know that. So know that whenever you're receiving an aha, or a deepening, or a revelation, or a realization, it's because there is an identification between the I am and whatever I am you're receiving that from. There is an ability to make a connection soul to soul. So that's what we always want to be doing as light work is am I serving this person's soul? Because especially when you've been working with people for a very long time, it's important you don't become a servant to their ego. You want to be serving soul to soul. And I know that having a business like this might get complicated because you're like, I don't want to turn people away, or I don't want to But we need to come back to this core intention of I'm a soul here to serve other souls in the highest and best good of all. And whenever you're stepping into a session, have the ability to put your ego kind of on a seat so that if there are still any limiting programs in that ego, it's okay. We'll get to them later. We're not going to have it inhibit the session. See what I'm saying? So always make sure that if you're serving in any way or creating art, be in that I am. That's where all the magic's going to flow from. Wayne Dyer talks a lot about this. Okay, I think I read one of his books when I was like in junior high, which was many, many, many years ago. But I think he's a very beautiful soul. Is he passed on? Oh, he's passed on, isn't he? He's in my consciousness. Oh boy. Okay, well, one day we'll hear a little bit from Wayne Dyer. Okay. Wow. Yummy. Okay. Such a loving energy, such a loving presence. Wow. Oh, I'm like getting a little bit of a hug, I think. I think we're all getting a little hug from Wayne Dyer right now. Yeah. What he's sharing with me is that his main message was teaching unconditional love. And that's my main message as well. So cool. Hey, fun. Nice to know you. Yeah, me too. I'm like I have like tinglies all over my skin because whenever I'm channeling something that I wasn't expecting to channel, it kind of comes in like a woof. Oh, thanks, Chi. Okay, so integration. I think by talking about those three, I want to recap a little bit of a recap as I clear our auras. So the three topics today were flexibility, having a lot of flexibility, which applies to really these topics. Having flexibility in our highest excitement. So highest excitement was something that we talked a lot about. I know someone mentioned Bashar. The Essenes and the Essasanis are groups that I typically will... The way that I channel is a multidimensional channel. So I'm not just receiving from one being at a time. I'm basically receiving from collectives, social memory complexes, and they're sort of presenting all their stuff in my field. And then I, as the channel or the conduit, am flowing it through. And that's why you'll see sometimes things come out of my mouth and I'm like, what did I just say? That's when I'm receiving like I'm integrating a channel that is high frequency. Have a beautiful day, Alex. Filled with God's love and light. Yes. So, and then the other thing that we talked about was getting comfortable with the cards. What am I doing? Okay, so I'm going to pull two cards, and then that's going to be... Yes, so Raven sharing, as you evolve, it's quite beautiful to watch the emotions pass, see them, be aware, and don't grab them. Thank you. So emotions are energy in motion. A lot of you don't know this, so I'll share it, this has been very studied. An emotion can only be active in the field for 90 seconds. Chew on that for a second. So basically, anytime that we have an emotion that's coming in, if we don't let it pass on through, and it only takes 90 seconds, that's when we start to bring the ego in the mix, and then we have a bunch of monkeys banging chimes or an anxiety attack. So remember that when you feel an emotion coming on, feel it, sense it, what's it there to tell you, let it pass. Sometimes you might be needing to do something more physical, stomp it out, yell it out. If it's anger, stomp it. I like to stomp when I've got that coming up, or I take a pillow and I take it over my head and I slam it into the ground as many times and I or yell. I let it move through me. I'm not going to let those get stuck up in my body and in my mind and in my embodiments. I know if it's there for a reason. I'm going to let it flow. I'm definitely not going to let any of my emotions that are in the negative polarity affect anyone else in a negative way. And I will be the one to say, I'm not going to hang out today because I'm in a pissy mood and I've got a lot to process, so I got to be with this. I'm not one to take that and then go bring it somewhere and dump it on people. Just to share a little bit about myself. And I'm not saying isolate yourself either, but I am saying that your emotions aren't to be denied. Oop, this is upside down. Okay, oop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 7 in this one. And then 7 in that one. Okay, we're going to get 3 cards. Take some very, very deep breaths. Oxygenate the system. Remember Remember that through your breath, oxygen. And remember that your body, your nervous system, your cells, like when we go to the hospital, let's say, what's the thing they're mainly monitoring? Oxygen. So use your breath to oxygenate your brain, your body, your blood. There are actual breatharians on the planet right now surviving off the breath. I've considered it. I've tried it. Not for me right now. I like food too much. But maybe one day I'll try it out for a little while, just for fun, just for kicks. If I'm like, I'm bored. I do get bored a lot. But boredom is a gift. My guides, when I got bored a while ago, and this is when I had more money, and it was a little bit more free for me financially, they were like, I was really bored one day, and I was like, this is so annoying to me, and so I channeled on it, and my guides were like, boredom is a gift. Then they shared with me, if you're bored, you have everything you need, and your only issue is boredom. And then they showed me all these people on the planet that like they don't have the space. They can't get bored because they're working so hard to survive. And they were like, boredom is a luxury. And once I saw it like that, I was like, holy crap. I never considered it that way. And then they challenged me. They said, the next time you're bored, create something. And I was like, when I'm bored, I don't want to be creating something. And I started creating things when I was bored, and wow, some of my best paintings. I was recording songs for a while with someone who kind of did me dirty. I was working with a producer, and it was really cool. And then out of nowhere, they were like, blocking you. And I was like, this sucks. I still like his music. But what he did was pretty messed up. How do I communicate with my guides? I always try to. Okay. I think that there's going to be answers to that in these cards, which I've got here. So, yeah, Merrick, I know. Story for another day. But I'm still making music. I just don't know what I'm going to do with it quite yet. I love doing sound baths. I love, sometimes I just do, a light language song will come through me, and I'll just be singing it all day. And my guides will be like, you better record that. You're going to want to hear this later. And I'm like, what? Because that's what I find too with light codes and light language. The stuff that's coming in, it's like specific, it's timely. So the light language that's coming through you today, it might be really different from the light language that's coming through tomorrow. And it has to do with alignments, star systems, planets. Okay. This is what happens. That my voice makes that sound, just so you guys know, when I have like 7 channels that want to come through literally at once. But the guides thing, they said this will help. I don't really understand how this was going to help. Maybe it's a different card. See, that's the thing about the singing though, Andrea. Like I can't, if I just sit down and say, I want to sing, it doesn't happen. It always comes through me organically. So that's why too, sometimes I'll be doing light language and it's very like spoken. So for example, I'll bring through, if you want to receive a little bit of light language, to shine up and be in your I am. Singing's not going to come through today. It's a lot of that though. So after the rain, silver lining, relief, hope, mercy, it's over, and acceptance. So what they're showing me about this is this has to do with us letting go of all the things that we found in our ego field that weren't our I am. We need to say, okay, I acknowledge it, I let it go. You don't learn light language. It's remembered, it's channeled. It's frequency healing that will come through your vessel, through your voice, and it really will get activated when your chakra system is clear, balanced, and aligned. Yeah, so when it's an information overload, Showing me to show Archangel Duranka. Hone your psychic gifts and see through illusion. So when you're feeling, if you're psychically attuned, you could end up feeling like there's too much information. I'll say it again. When you're psychically attuned, it's very common. They're showing me it's very common. Wow. I'm psychically attuned, but yeah, and I used to experience this so much. When too much information is coming through, that's when to, oh crap, I'm getting, but yeah, and I used to experience this so much. When too much information is coming through, that's when to, oh crap, I'm getting, I am back. I just got booted out at the hour mark. Are we still here? Especially those of you that were hearing the Psychically Attuned channel. Feels like it has to do with your guides. Okay, so let's get back to the channel. Too much information. So when you're feeling like there's too much information, remember that you have the ability to say, this actually has a lot to do with having boundaries with your guides. So if you feel like too much information is coming in, you can call on they're saying call on your guardian angel, call on your ascension team. And they're showing me that we actually have a team that helps us specifically with our psychic abilities. Archangel Duranka is in this group. So it's just showing me like Merlin Trismegistus, or Hermes Trismegistus, which is like, this is, I'm speaking to Toth and this very illuminated soul that came through many embodiments, Merlin, on planet Earth. Some of you are hearing the coding of what I'm saying, but I'm not going to go further here because it's a little bit tricky. It unlocks a lot of boxes that we can't have unlocked right now. But they're sharing, I stopped asking questions for this moment so I can catch up. So if you're feeling like too much information is coming through, you can say, guides, this is too much for me. Be honest. Talk to your guides like they're a friend. Say, this is ascension team, guardian angel, archangel, call in the archangels, or you might sense specific starseed guides that assist you with certain qualities of your expression. But say that I'm getting too much. Hear me as the human. It's too much. I need help. You need to turn this down. This stuff that you're sending through me, I don't have the space to receive it right now. Please help me to clear my field so that this can be allowed through later. And especially the information, they're also showing me, Raven, that this is actually kind of by design of your higher self, because your higher self wants you to choose. Your higher self wants you to act on your highest excitement. So if your channel is like just opening after a long period of being not open, you might have a lot of the stuff that was built up coming through. It's up to you as the channel, as the conduit, as the human vessel, expression of your soul here, to decide what you're going to bring through. So they're showing me too, remember that sometimes things might come through that you're like, not for me. That's okay. It's important you have sovereignty and discernment even with the guides. And then also know that if you don't feel connected to the guides, they're showing me false guides. So you may be disconnected from your real guides because I'm channeling this through, and it's definitely Akashic. So take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. But some of you aren't connecting with your guides because you've identified at earlier times in your life when you were following false guides. So because you identified that's a false guide, you completely shut your structure down from receiving guides again. And they're showing me, okay, let's have this moment of acknowledgement. Let's have this moment of acknowledgement that it's up to me as the sovereign being to decide what I'm going to move forward with, what I'm going to record, what I'm going to bring to the public, because they don't want you working with your guides so that you can outsource your human decisions. You as a soul came here to be making that decision by decision. So even when you're calling on your higher self, your higher self doesn't want to X you out and come take your place. It's a stream of consciousness that's always flowing. What came through this morning will take time to process. Thank you. Yes. So Raven, they're showing me that that's actually true of most of these sessions. You're definitely not going to process everything you receive in one of these sessions in the hour and a half time that we sit together. It's going to ripple out. It will meet you where you are, and then the parts of the transmission that are going to take time to integrate, you'll find throughout. He's such a better driver, though. Like your guide, I'm assuming you mean. This is what I'll share. Quality guides will never present a message to you that they're better than you. Quality guides are unconditionally loving and very empowering. They want to empower you. They want to empower you to make your decisions. They want to hold space for you. They may want to show you areas where you fogged your own lens, but they're not going to present to you in a way that's demanding. So if the guide is demanding and saying, do this thing, and you're like, no, and they keep saying to do it, no, right away, false guide. If you're giving me demanding energy, or if you're giving me judgmental energy, or if you're giving me holier than thou energy, you're not a real guide. And you can leave my field. And you can even set the sovereign statement that I only allow guides of unconditional love to communicate with me. And that way you won't have to worry about the false guides. Because you, with your free will, is the driver. That's why, like, these parties I talk about that come and try to siphon your power, they're doing it in a very manipulative way. You know? So they're doing it in a way that, just be aware when you're working with your guides. Some guides, and then also remember, this is something that's really kind of interesting, so I'll share. In my last energy healing live, I channeled the archangels, and they all kind of came through my body sort of at once. And one of the things that they were communicating was, it was so powerful. And if you ever do this is the June live energy healing in the energy healing membership. You can get to the link in my profile. But what they showed me was, and this is so fun, and they might have said this multiple times, but I'm going to share it. They showed me that we're actually not in these angelic forms. Like, we don't look like this. And they shared with me, like, we let you humans, like, have your constructs of us and, like, call us by names or need to see us with wings. But the archangels are pure energy. They're like liquid light is the way that I really tune into them at the core of them. And so, especially like when you have like false guides sometimes might show up in wings because they're like, oh, I'm just going to pretend to be an angel. But you got to get really, really good at is this the I am? That's another thing too you can do with guides. Am I in my am? Is this guide in their I am? Because if there's a guide presenting and it's a false guide, let's say, and they're not in their I am, it's probably going to dissolve or go away. Because they're going to realize, oh, I'm caught. My trickster veil they see right through it. Dang. Better go away. Liquid light is incredible. Absolutely. Yes. And we all are liquid light. Think about it. We're liquid light. Okay, our souls are light. Our bodies are like 70% water. We're basically all liquid light. Can you pay for a question? You can ask the question. I can't guarantee I'll be able to answer it. Atomic Josh, I know, right? But we really are. Like, the more I'm tuning into it, that's like what we are. Like, our souls are like animating these liquid bodies. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Honored to be here. It's an honor. It's just our human self needs a confirmation of form. Right. It's easier for our mind to accept. Thank you, Raven. So right, when if you do connect with the angels, let's say in an angelic form, that's okay. You know, that's not they can appear that way. They're basically shapeshifters. If we're getting real about it. That's why it's like seraphim, like a lot of people tune into seraphim, the seraphim dragons, and that's one form they take. I hope that makes sense. Because some of you probably won't make sense, and that's okay. So did you want to ask a question? I mean, if it's answerable and it's applicable for the community, otherwise it would have to be something like a session where you book with me one-to-one, which I won't have open for too much longer, guys. Just so you all know, if you want to get in on a one-on-one, do it now. Okay, it's personal. Okay. Oh, that's definitely not a question I can answer, G. Sorry. I'm not a doctor. I'm definitely not here to make any types of recommendations in that realm. Just so you know, I would want you to be working with a professional in that area, not me. Just to be honest with you. I'm always going to be honest. Okay, I have this space I keep going with a table. Oh, and G, that's actually another question too that I wouldn't be able to answer in a one-to-one. I don't want you to have to like book a one-to-one and ask that question and I can't answer it because it's just not my area. So I'll always be clear to you all. If I sense that you're wanting to work with me in an area that I'm not the right conduit, I'll be real about it. I'm not going to say I'm the only one that can help you. I'm definitely not. So I have this space I keep going with a table, but I'm always sitting alone. How do I invite right? They want you to define right. What's right to you? And your guides are really elusive, Atomic Josh. This is what I'm being shown about some of our guides. Some of our guides are believe in us so much that we have to be specific with them. Non-destructive. Interesting. So Atomic Josh, all I'm seeing about your questions is Atlantis. You might want to do some Atlantis meditations. And be prepared for everyone. If you feel Atlantis is piquing your interest right now, it's time to do like a hypnosis or a meditation about your experience in that timeline or era. Because a lot of us are letting go of weight and wounding that was acquired in an Atlantean life. So that may be what's going on. You've been guided to leave your profession. By who? A lot of my clients will come to me and they'll say, I was told this thing, or someone said this thing to me. And like my first thing is like, well, like, what about you? Because when we're clinging to like someone said this thing that I am to do, or someone once told me I was a psychic, or like someone once told me I was a medium, someone, we have to be very, very conscious of like what people are telling us of us. Is it anchored in the I am? If it is, and you heard it out here because it was meant to activate the I am, okay, now you know that. You have that piece of information. But when we're guided away from our jobs, our professions, our careers, check to see where the guiding is coming from. If the guiding is coming from your soul, it's time to take steps. If the guidance is coming from your ego, it's time to start questioning that ego as to why. And then a good question to ask if you're in a relationship or in a job that you're considering leaving is, what am I not getting here? Like what is not fulfilling me about this? What is it I'm really desiring? Get really clear on what is it you're desiring in the partnership, in the job, in the whatever. Because if we don't get clear on why we're leaving something, we're just going to repeat the pattern in something else. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Is there anything I can do more to bring in my guides? Just ask them. Call on them. Maybe out loud, if you're not doing it out loud yet. They're there. So it's like Andrea, they're already there. And just like, there. They're just there. But we can't tune into it unless we intend to. So we have to be the ones to say, I want to hear from my guides for my highest and best good. Or maybe it's the areas where you're like, I don't have a question to ask my guides, but I know I need guidance. Automatic writing is what I would suggest. Get a pen and paper, write they're saying write down the question and then write down the answer from your heart. I'm so sorry, Andrea. But yes, a guide for you. Yes, a guide for you. Such a loving guide. Gee, I just I have your best interests at heart. So the questions I couldn't answer them, but with love. I'm not answering them with love. Okay. Because too, this is the other thing about these burning, yearning questions that we want to ask the quote unquote gurus, which you're the only guru you have. I just always like to guide you to asking your questions within. And when you work with me one-to-one too, that's what I'm going to be sitting there with you to do, is I'm going to be guiding you to your own answers within. Yes, your guides will be present. Yes, your guides will probably ask the question of, do you have any questions of us? They always do. But almost every time that I'm in session and I say, do you have any questions for your guides? Once the person is sitting in the energy with their guides, their question vanishes. I can't think of a time where that wasn't the case, of the hundreds of people I've worked with. Whenever the guides come and say, do you have a question? I see the person, I witness the person in front of me. When they're sitting in this energy field with their guides, they don't have a question. They feel whole. They feel balanced. And that's when the soul can get and the ego can get so clear on what questions were coming up before that they weren't meant to be asked. Especially they weren't meant to be asked outside of us. The parts of the egos, typically when you're sitting with your guides, you're going to feel the parts of the ego that were problematic. You're going to have a different relationship with them. You're going to see them as friends that are just like drowning, and you're just going to want to help them. Yes, oracles are a great place to start. And that's the last actually card that we got for today, which is, okay, so it's middle way, and it's 3 of clubs. So this card deck that I channeled through, one-to-ones are through the link in my profile and my website, soulhealingwithbree.com. But 3 of clubs, what they're showing me is in this Lightworker Toolkit session, we were able to see everything that a Lightworker sees a little bit more like from the 3D. So a little bit more in the way where we can integrate high dimensional wisdom with the actual earth plane. So we don't want to be doing this thing where we grab the high dimensional wisdom and then we're like, oh, that's fine and nice, but that's up here and I'm down here. We need to, whatever we're bringing through in the way of light working, in the way of channeling, in the way of healing, in the way of creation or co-creation, needs to come from the I am, needs to come from love, needs to come from an integrated vessel, an integrated system, one that is sovereign, one that knows what it is, who it is, one that doesn't operate from linear programs, but operates from multidimensionality. So when we can attune our energetic field to operate from multidimensionality, we're freeing ourselves up in so many ways. So many ways. Okay, I think that we might be closed with this transmission. They're saying there's a little bit more, but I don't know what. What's a little bit more, guys? They want an example. So they want to show that they're not there. They're there to present. You're here to act. So they're here to present, but you're here to act. So whatever they present to you, be discerning of what you act on. That way you're gonna all those ego layers that say don't channel because, well, maybe it's scary and stuff. You get to decide what you act on. So you can gather up the information, sit with it. How does it feel? What's it speaking to you? Do you feel motivated from your heart to act on it or sit with it? One more card from here. Two. Okay. So we got, I'm going to show you this part first. We got the Joker and a Two of Hearts. So the Two of Hearts is answering. Okay, so the Joker is levity. We're having levity through this. Oh, ha ha ha. Egos can be mean and terrible. Ha ha ha. What a silly human way to be. Ha ha ha. Ooh, ha ha. And then the Two of Hearts, balanced love. So remembering all of our connections, whether that be in a profession or a relationship, one-to-one, anything that's in duality. If we just keep coming from the heart and balanced love, and balanced love is important because balanced love is representative of that the heart space processes both light and dark energy. Sometimes we get this like notion that, and I often see the yin yang sign over the heart, because the heart's there to process all of it, light and dark. And it has the capacity to. If we try to process darkness in the third eye, we all see how that turns out. You asked for a 1-to-1 and 11-11. Wow. Amy, that's so cool. So it feels like just we're remembering that when we're in duality and we're noticing, ooh, there's a very imbalanced loves here. It's kind of manipulative loves here. What? Yucky. Oh, I'm going to balance myself out. Oh, that's not working? Okay, well then go to levity. Like maybe I can just laugh for a little bit. Maybe me just laughing about this is better than trying to get this balanced on my own. You know, maybe I just need to laugh it out. Maybe I got some energy to balance. And maybe once my energy is balanced through the levity, giving myself some lightness, giving myself permission to feel lighter, giving myself permission to go bike into the sunset, giving myself permission to listen to that music on loud, or giving myself permission to take that long shower, take that long bath, or take that extended period of me time. Yeah. So scan your life and see where is more levity needed, and scan your life and see where is more balanced love needed. Where are my my scales? Are they called scales? I think so. Where are those unbalanced? Can I go to the levity side and then go back to the balance side and then maybe go to the balance? Or maybe the levity doesn't feel available because there's no balance. So can I get balanced and then, levity is going to pop up in my life. Look at that funny squirrel doing a dance. Oh, it's actually dancing. I don't know, maybe this will happen to some of you. You'll see a squirrel dancing. Please let me know if that happens. Okay, I think that we are closed with this Lightworker Toolkit transmission. I hope that you all feel a little bit more integrated. Some of you had some ahas. Those ahas are typically indicative of healing. So if you had an aha or a revelation in this, it might mean that some healing took place. Drink a lot of water. Even if you don't feel like healing took place, drink a lot of water. And today I would like you to tune into, for the rest of the day, opportunities to follow your highest excitement that's really coming from your heart. Maybe your guides present it, but it piques your heart, your highest excitement. And then also be aware of the opportunities where, this is a good time to just be. Maybe before I was like scrolling on my phone or busily cleaning or, doing something that was kind of, I thought it was a distraction, but it was just lowering my frequency. Can I take this little period of time to just be? So be aware of those opportunities, and then know that this video will be uploaded in the Lightworker Toolkit by this afternoon. You can again get to the link in my link tree. It's called the Lightworker Toolkit. I love you all so very much. Have a beautiful day, and remember to live out and be your I am presence on this earth plane. Namaste.